What's going on? This is GameWithSki, and I've got an Ice Shards update for you. We're going to go over I'm going to give you a preview of the gameplay. Then we're going to go over my new gear, the new skill tree, the Paragon board, and kind of a how to play for those who haven't seen this before. Wow, look at that shared misery just procking a screen away there. That is always nice.
All right, I'm going to go over the gear that we need to get for the helmet. Cooldown reduction is number 1. And number 2 is life. Anything else of that is bonus. I got lucky. I got 12.8% lucky hit while you have a barrier. And then I got some life regen. Meh. For our armor. Oh, and the imprinted with lucky hit chance is increased while you have a barrier. For the chest, I have... Yeah, that's annoying. Well, what you want is 2 types of damage reduction and preferably a life stat. I got an armor stat. And then I ended up getting cold damage on there. So I got 2 mediocre rolls, but 2 good rolls. I got damage reduction, and then I got damage reduction from distant enemies. You want 1 piece of gear to have damage reduction from distant enemies because of those skeleton not crossbows, but those big skeleton ballistas. Those things really hurt, so you need 1 item from damage reduction from distant enemies. Okay. And you imprint it with lucky hit. When you hit a crowd-controlled enemy, up to a 48 whatever chance to crowd-control an enemy. You want shared misery. What that does is when you hit an enemy who is frozen, he's going to spread that freeze throughout the screen. And I've actually had it where it chain freezes as I'm running through the screen. 1 screen and another screen and another screen. So I've had 3 screens of chain frozen enemies if the mobs are dense enough. Now I have a second chest here. Just in case things get difficult, I haven't had to use it yet. But I always make 2 chest pieces. And on this one I gain armor. So if like I'm facing a boss or the butcher, I can swap out to this armor here at the bottom. All you do is to swap out, you just right click to swap, and now you're swapped. So instead of doing your chain freezing, now you have increased armor for 4 seconds, and it's pretty easy. And then this one I have life, damage reduction from enemies that are burning, because we're burning this time around. I'll show you how all that works. And I got another damage reduction from distant enemies, which I should probably have damage from close on here, but oh well. For gauntlets, for your gloves, you want Ice Shards. And when you get high level, I think after 82 I found these, where you can get +4 to Ice Shards. Wow, I didn't even know it goes this high. Maybe it goes higher later, I don't know. But you got +4 Ice Shards. And then you get lucky hit chance and crit chance. And then I got all stats, which is really nice. I mean, it's pretty nice. These are about as good as we're gonna get, I think. Why do you need all stats? Well, you need dexterity and willpower as well, because when you get to your Paragon tree, you're gonna need more stats to get the bonus Paragon nodes. So, plus all stats is very helpful. Pants. Just like the armor, you want as much damage reduction as you can. And then I got plus life. You want life. And then you want stats. So these are pretty much about as perfect as they get. I got plus dexterity. I need dexterity for the glyphs. So that's really nice. There's nodes on the Paragon tree that you need dexterity. So these are very nice. And the bubble aspect. Oh yeah, I didn't go off the aspect. On the glove, the aspect, Ice Shards Pierce, obviously. And on this one, I really like the bubble. I haven't needed it since I swapped over to this new setup. But the bubble really helps when things get difficult. Like if you encounter the Butcher. It gives you a chance to let your cooldowns recharge. I mean, 5 seconds. In 5 seconds, all my cooldowns are ready to rock and roll now. Boots.
I'm not ready yet.
Move speed. Move speed is, I think, more important than even having teleport on the boots. I got lucky. I got the 3. I got pretty lucky. They're not perfect. The only thing I need is mana cost reduction on these boots. But you want Frost Nova is number 1. Move speed is number 2. And then I think before teleport would be mana cost reduction. Would be number 3. And then 4 would be plus teleport. And I got plus 4 ranks of each of those. Teleport and Frost Nova. And then I got cold resistance. I find myself not using teleport as much anymore. I'll show you that in my gameplay as to why. I'm going to go through a play-by-play breakdown. The wand. You want super high damage, first off. Then you want vulnerable damage as number 1. Crit damage is number 2. I have both. And then damage to chilled. And then burning. You probably want damage to burning before chilled. And then I have damage to stunned enemies. Which I don't stun, so that's a useless... Pretty useless. I plan on stunning later, but right now, as of now, I do not stun. Oh, for the boots, I imprinted with Flame Shield. As you move through, you can move through enemies, and then you can immobilize them, which lets you deal extreme damage when your your Frost Nova is on cooldown, or they cannot be frozen by Frost Nova. So that really, it really helps. And I have this imprinted with, you deal more damage to immobilized, stunned, or frozen enemies. And then I socketed with crit damage to vulnerable enemies. Amulet. Plus defensive skills is number 1. Number 2 would be cooldown reduction. Number 3 is mana cost reduction.
4 would be plus the Devouring Blaze passive.
Alright, and you want to socket all your jewelry with skulls for the armor. What's it imprinted with? Core or masteries cast at or above 100 mana, gain 54% crit chance. Huge. Huge. For the ring, lucky hit chance. No, yeah, lucky hit chance, crit chance, life, and then damage to crowd controlled enemies or damage to, you probably want damage to vulnerable is number 1. Damage to crit damage is number 2, and crowd control damage would be number 3 for your damage mods on your rings. And then I have using a cooldown restores 23 mana. You want that? You need max mana with this setup. My other setups you didn't need mana. This one you need max mana to really do the massive damage. This one here I have crit chance. I have life. I do not have lucky hit on this one. This ring, unfortunately. I need to find a better ring. But I have crit damage on there and damage to chilled. So it's got 4 usable mods. Avalanche Key passive applies 1 additional cast. That is essential when you're doing the crit. When you have the crit here on your amulet slot, You need to have the avalanche because you need that maximum mana or else this is useless. And a focus. For the focus, I socketed this one with a crit damage to crowd-controlled enemies. I kind of just did one of each. I don't know if it's better to do vulnerable because it seems like enemies are crowd-controlled for me more than they are vulnerable. The only thing that's worthwhile for the vulnerable is like bosses that you can't crowd control. So I did one of each, kind of split it, but that's the choice is yours on the socket on this. And what do you want on here? You want cooldown reduction. It's number one, the number one thing. Well, first you need damage. You need a focus that does damage. Number two, you need the cooldown reduction. So you need both of those. And then after that, crit chance.
And mana cost reduction.
Skill tree. So I got the new setup here, and this setup works extraordinarily well. I still have one in Firebolt, one in Arc Lash. Ice Shards. Greater Ice Shards. You max that out. Teleport. And Shimmering Teleport. Now, you see I don't have to put in Flame Shield because of the amulet. That's why that's very important. Precision Magic, Lucky Hit Chance. We want our Lucky Hit to be as high as possible so that we can regenerate our mana. One in a line of elements to get protection so that we get a barrier. We want to keep our barriers up because we get Lucky Hit Chance if we have a barrier, okay? And I don't think I went over this. Shimmering Teleport, 30% damage reduction. Very important. Elemental crit strikes have a 50% chance to reset the cooldown of defensive skills. I ended up maxing this because it wasn't proccing enough. Now it procs almost every time. And then we have Mystical Frost Nova to make them vulnerable, obviously. And we went over these, and we're going down here, and I'm going to try out these here. I want to keep the screen chain frozen. So I think it's important to... I think things like this, glass cannon, endgame, it's bait, okay? Don't do it. Early leveling, here you're doing enough increased damage that these stats to increase damage are pretty much doing nothing. Even up here is doing nothing. You get a glyph that gives you 70-80% more damage. You need to get things that you can't get on the Paragon board, like applying 24% more chill and Lucky Hit. Since you're getting Lucky Hit, might as well go for the Lucky Hit. 9% chance to instantly freeze. And not only that, when you freeze a guy and you have a chance to spread that freeze to the whole screen. So we're going to be chain freezing the whole screen. And you can see I unspec Meteor. It just wasn't proccing enough for me. Even on the more difficult mobs, it just wasn't proccing enough. So I ended up getting rid of Meteor. We can use our Flame Shield to proc our Devouring Blaze. So Devouring Blaze, we get this. And I went Fiery Surge. Killing a burning enemy increases your mana regeneration by 30%. Okay, we're not going after when we're going through the levels. We're not going after single mobs. We're going after the big groups of mobs so that we can keep this Fiery Surge replenishing our mana exponentially. Okay, if we kill 10 enemies, that's 300% mana regeneration for 3 seconds. And Deep Freeze again to give us a time to collect ourselves when things get crazy. Permafrost Frigid Breeze here. This is what I went for. Cold damage against vulnerable enemies has up to a 20% chance to generate 15 mana. So this keeps our mana regen up. And I just put like one in each of these. And then my last point I put in here, Hoarfrost, to just do the most damage. I don't know how this one stacks here, damage to vulnerable enemies. I don't know if that stacks with your vulnerable damage or if it's just additive. So that would be a question. We'll test that. And then I went Avalanche instead of Shatter. We're going to go over the Paragon board now. And we start here, come up to the right, and get that physical damage. And we're going to go up through here to get the glyph. We're going to sock it with reinforced. We're going to go up through and get elemental balance, which is our physical, non-physical damage. And then this glyph requires the willpower, so you grab the nearest willpowers and some elemental damage. Next board, we come up here, and this is Enchantment Master board. First thing I did is I came up here to the left and got this elemental damage here, Elementalist. And then I went right, grabbed this elemental damage here. With the glyph, we're going to socket that with Elementalist. Paragon nodes gain bonus to their non-physical damage, so we're getting more damage. All the nodes. I come up through and get, boom, more damage. Damage to elites. And then we're going to come right through here. Our next board is the Frigid Fate board. Come up here, straight to our glyph. Rotate it so that your vulnerable damage here is facing towards the top. And then this one you're going to rotate so the glyph is on the right. This one, Frigid Fate, rotate so the glyph is here. We're going to get the glyph. We're going straight for this vulnerable damage because right now, at this point, you know your glyphs aren't leveled yet, so you can't really use them. So you're going to go with it for the nodes first. You're going to go with weakness, and then you're going to come up through here and get this vulnerable damage. Vulnerable damage and damage reduction from vulnerable enemies. You're just going to come straight up through here and then make a left down there. Okay? And then from here, damage to vulnerable, you're going to go boom, 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 Frigid Fate. Okay? And this is the point when you get this node, Frigid Fate, that's when you could finally switch over from the Shatter passive to the other passive and go with the board. This node here finally makes the build where you get enough mana regen that you can stay 100 mana and be critting. So this is extremely important. Just that 15% additional lucky hit chance. It's just so hard to get enough lucky hit chance. All right, and then from here we go down and get more lucky hit. So we need all this lucky hit. And I don't grab any resist nodes. And from here, I came up and got damage reduction from vulnerable. And then we come right in here into the Burning Instinct board. And this board, we're going to come straight down and around the long way to the glyph. Because we don't need the strength. And this is the most efficient path. So we get Destruction Glyph. This is crit damage. So this helps multiply that crit damage. And then we're going to go down here. Damage reduction from enemies that are burning. And these 2 dexterity nodes to buff that. And then around here 2 cinders, more burning damage. And then we're going to come up and get this kindling here. Damage to burning enemies. All this burning damage and elites. And then we're going to come up and around and get these damage reduction nodes from elites. It's better to go this way than it is to go this way. After that, that's the Burning Instinct board. And then remember, when you go into the Burning Instinct, rotate it so that the glyph is down, straight to the right. Turn right. All right, next we're going to come up from the Frigid Fate board. We're going to go north. It's most efficient if you can go do a cross. Just the real quickest nodes. Quickest way. And we're going to do the Ceaseless Conduit. You're going to rotate it so that the glyph is directly to your left. And you're going to come up And you're going to go to the glyph. And this is damage to vulnerable. Increased damage to vulnerable targets. So you're going to fill that up. And then you're going to go to the right. And get damage to elites. And elite damage to elites, or move speed after killing an elite. We're going to go through a play-by-play on this map. We got blood blisters, monster sand, monster control, resist. First thing we want to see is what kind of enemies are on the board.
I need time to prepare.
Okay, we got demons. So, consumables, you want to go with your damage against... Holy...
I forgot to mention that you want Ice Shards as an enchantment effect and Fire Bolt so that you can burn the enemies.
So we want to do either just damage against demons.
I'm not ready.
Alright, so you teleport in, hit your Frost Nova, and all the weaker enemies should die. Look at how fast the teleport is instantly healing. There we go. Frost Nova. Now, a lot of times I try not to teleport because I want it to reset my Frost Nova and not my teleport. Oh my gosh, it's happening so fast. It's hard to... Okay, I'm going to slow it down here. Alright. I run in, hit my Flame Shield, run through him. Now he's immobilized, hit my Frost Nova, boom, that elite is dead just in 1 second. And now all the monsters are just shattering all around. Now, I'm waiting for my Frost Nova to regen so I could go ahead and finish these guys off. Looks like it's getting close. Alright, now I'm going to go through there. There it is, Flame Shield. They're immobilized. And now I'm going to hit them with the Frost Nova. And an Ice Shards. Boom. Finished off 3 elites. In a quick combo. Pick up all the uniques and the statue. Maybe I should fast forward through that. Too late, I guess. Don't waste your mana and time on the stragglers. That was a waste of a Frost Nova right there. I think I thought there were more than were actually there. And this can get annoying here where those guys are hitting you. They need to fix that part of the game. Okay, going in. Come on, Frost Nova. There it is. So usually I just Frost Nova and then just cast Ice Shards once, maybe twice. Here my Frost Nova did not regen, but now it did, see? So I want to try not to teleport into the mobs because a lot of times I won't get my Ice Shards coming back right away. It'll pop the teleport. Okay, just running past these guys, trying to get through. Here's a nice sized mob. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm messing around here. Yeah, usually you want to skip a group of 2 mobs like that. Okay, run past the trash. There's a group of I like to do at least 6. I look for 5 or 6 mobs. Alright, there it is. Flame Shield, and that elite was just done. If you got them immobilized and vulnerable and frozen, elites pretty much die very quickly. Go, waiting for the Frost Nova. I don't know why I hit the Flame Shield there. Sometimes I just finger mash the wrong button. I have a problem with that. Okay, running back with the second statue. Alright, here's a group of 7 mobs. Just instant death. Oh, I couldn't advance any further there. Okay, I didn't have my Frost Nova, so I used my Flame Shield and then hit a Frost Nova, and now I'm deep freeze. Frost Nova's ready again. Come on, hit Frost Nova. And I hit it, and I missed it right here. got Flame Shield again. We got another Frost Nova up. There's a lot happening here. Kind of run back, recoup. Come on, Frost Nova again. Okay, we got the bubble, so we want to stay in the bubble. Okay, oh gosh, see that's the worst part of the bubble, is when something is about to explode. I should have got out of the bubble, but luckily I was not one shot there, but it was close. Okay, we're running through. Come on, use the teleport. And okay, we're gonna just be using our cooldowns, trying to keep at 100% mana. Mana is gone a little bit, so I stopped, took a little break, used some cooldowns, and now I used Deep Freeze there. Pick up the drops and push on to the next spot. I think I just wanted to get the run over with, so I started wasting my teleport. See how teleport? Okay, there's wow. Let's see if I see what level these are. Level 86 mobs, they're 3 levels above me. That's kind of where you want to be, is shooting mobs that are 3 levels above. Apparently that's the sweet spot for difficulty versus experience. Okay, we're running past the trash. That was a group of about 7 right there. That might have been 6, I don't know. Here's about 7 mobs, there we go. Up here's an elite. Wow, that died fast. Didn't even need Flame Shield for that one. Here's a couple, Frost Nova. And haven't been getting that. Okay, we got Flame Shield going up. Teleport in. Hit Deep Freeze. I probably should have hit Frost Nova there. There's the Flame Shield move that I talked about. I'm out of mana, so it's just kind of biding time. I think I'm waiting for the Flame Shield to nuke him. There it is. Okay, we're going to teleport in and do a Frost Nova. I don't know what happened there. Sometimes when I don't feel like waiting for the Frost Nova, I'll just use Flame Shield and get up in there. It's not as effective, but it works. My mana is still maxed there. All those burning enemies dying is keeping the mana up. And that is it. The map looks to be complete. I just finish up these elites. If this video helped you, please help me by liking and subscribing.